Good morning, everybody. So for our homework notes for this week, you're going to add more multi-letter phonograms to P2, which is your multi-letter phonogram page. And that's the one in the reference section. It's on the back of our consonant vowel page. That looks like this. So add the ones in order that it said to, continuing from the previous weeks. You're going to also go to P6, which is your silent final E page, and review this. So have the kiddos read through the words and be able to identify the types of silent final E's that we have. It's helpful to pull out the reference cards and see if they can match dime to the type 1 silent final E card, or have and true to the type 2 silent final E card. So for day 1 on the phonogram review activity, it says time all 70. If you've made it through all 70 phonograms, then you would go through all of those and see how long it takes them to do it. And if they don't remember something, just say it for them so they can get through. Again, we're not trying to have this be a sticking point. We just want to encourage them to know them more and know them faster. And sometimes I'll time a kiddo a second time just because they get a little bit faster, and that can be encouraging to them. If timing is not helpful and supportive, encouraging, then don't do it. Your chart addition for day 1 is mother, which has the of her. So they're going to go, you all are going to go to the page, which looks like this. And you're going to say to them, mother, which in mother? And they're going to say of her. And then they're going to write mother in the think to spell syllable way in that column. So they would write mod, and then they would mark the th with their regular pencil and the with the red pencil because we're on that page. Dictate to nouns worksheet is a worksheet that I printed up for you, which looks like this. So you can either use this, or you can use 4 different dry erase boards. You could use a large piece of butcher paper and put it out and put persons, place, things, and ideas on each of those, or on the big butcher paper, and have them write with markers or colored pencils as a way to begin to introduce the idea of what a noun is, and then have them choose 5 of those to illustrate. So do they want to illustrate man, dog, home, mother, hand, whatever happens to go along with that. Then have them read their log for list D. Again, think to spell, think to say, going from left to right, just like we read a book. So they would read man, a k, make, boy, and so on. For their sentences that day, they're going to mix and match their left and right columns. So they'll pick one word from the left column like book, and another word from the right column like say. I say my favorite book is A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. So do a few of those, have them write one out if they can. On day 2, card flip is just flipping through the cards like we're used to, just seeing if we can say what the sounds are as they come. Then it asks you on your chart additions, this is actually just a chart review, not an addition. You would go to P1, which is the vowel page, which I'm not sure that we finished. As I look at Henry's book, I see that there are some holes there, so we might need to do that in class someday. But as we go through, can they say, this says a, and then ask them, why do we have 3 different columns? We have the 3 different columns because we're showing each sound being used in a word, a, and ah. And then ask them if they remember why we have the markings that we do. Why is this A underlined? Because it said A at the end of a syllable. Why is there a 3 over this A? Because it said its third sound. Then you would have them on day 2 do a grammar verbs worksheet. So if you go to your blue book, go to page 29, it'll give you the order that these words are supposed to go in. So our column 2 words for this week are all verbs. And beginning this noun and verb thing is so helpful and supportive now. We learn it in CC and we use it in Essentials. In week 5 in Essentials, when we get to diagramming, we use helping verbs, and they're already learning helping verbs, even at this introductory level to SWR, which I think is very encouraging. So you'll have them fill that in. Then if, as you're going through writing the verbs, you're going to notice that they didn't write any of their nouns for that day on that worksheet. So just flip over the back of the worksheet and say the nouns to have them right there, because we have to write every word every day. Then read lists B and C from the logbook. So go back and review those words that we've already done. So can they read tan and in and he and fish, and remember how all those ones are working. For day 2, for the sentences, have them do more mix and match from the first column to the second column. So pick a subject on the noun side, pick a verb on the verb side, and make a sentence out of it, or 2 or 3. For day 3, phonogram war What that is if you're making the little index cards that you would use for the memory game, you would take one set of those and put them face down and flip one over and see who can say it first. So if it's a "w" that comes up first, is it you or the kiddo or a brother or sister who says it? And whoever says it first gets to keep that card for successive rounds, I guess. And you can decide how many rounds of that you want to do. Then test. Make sure to include some review words from previous weeks to see if they have mastered those as you've been practicing them over the